Hey guys, Cyndi Williams here from Careers on Vacation, the travel career coach. So I make a ton of videos for newer travel agents or people thinking about getting into the industry, but I work a lot, at least 50% with people who are already in business, agency owners, travel agents who've been in and around for years, already doing great income. And I thought, let me put together a few notes and do a module kind of targeted at those of you who are already either successful travel agents or have those agencies that are kind of, doing 500, maybe doing $1 million a year in terms of per agent, but you want to kind of get to that next level, right? So in today's session, I wanted to talk about how do you move from being kind of a super agent to being a super owner, okay? So the first thing and most important is sometimes the best agents don't make the best owners. So you want to evaluate, is that what I want to do? Do I want to run a team? Do I want to grow my business? And usually the answer is yes. Who doesn't want to take less calls and make more money? Because that's the path. But if you really just love taking call after call and booking trips and doing that successfully, then just focus on that. There's nothing wrong with that. No judgment. This is about your life and how you want to run your business. So, but if you have ambition to have a bigger agency or even a mid-size or small boutique agency that makes a lot of profit, there are certain things you need to think about doing. So first and foremost, if you are already doing $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year, you should start, if and you're hosting or you're working with another agency, you should start thinking about getting all your credentials together either with CLIA or IATAN so you can have your very own agency. So the first thing that does is it gets you out of that hosting relationship if you're ready to do that, or that working under someone else, and have your own agency. If you have that experience and your sales are there, you should be thinking about that relatively quickly, because then you make 100% of your commission. Now listen, it's a process. You have to go through and the approval process is actually not that difficult, but you have to then reach out to your suppliers, get set up with all of your suppliers, negotiate your commissions and all that stuff. So there's a right way to do that. So, but you should be thinking about it, because then you're in a position where you're making 100% of your commission. So if you're hosting and you're doing 80-20 or 90-10 or 70-30, you just increased your profits. Look at what your sales were last year and see what it would be if it was 10% more, 20% more, 30% more, based on which relationship you're in. So if you're in an 80-20, for example, take your annual income and add 20%. That is what it would be. So that's the math of it. That helps you make the decision of, ooh, yeah, I would have made $10,000 more. Maybe it's time to make this switch and to do this. That makes sense. So that's the first piece. At least think about that. And if you're ready to do that, start putting the steps in place to go ahead and move forward with that. Now, getting to the next level or the next tier in terms of growing your agency is you want to think about recruiting and hiring agents. So whether you go the route of hiring new people that just kind of hire for attitude, train for skill, that requires a little more on your part in terms of the training and mentorship, but you can also make your margins a little bit bigger in terms of you keep 30% of the commission or 25% of the commission because you're teaching them everything. You have the marketing in place, you have a website in place, you have some of those other structured things in place they don't really want to do. They're kind of like when you started, they want to focus on the excitement of selling vacations. Nothing wrong with that. Or you can go after hiring experienced agents who also don't want to deal with the marketing side of the business and putting all the architecture and things together that are required. And you have to give them a little more of the commission, but they're coming to your agency with higher sales, which will in the long run help you negotiate higher commissions, which when you get into year 2 of having your agency is what we coach our owners to do. So again, no wrong answers, but what you need to think about is putting some infrastructure in place. How are you going to train your new hires? How are you going to do the onboarding process of introducing them to the company, what you expect from them, what they can expect from you, what the relationship would look like? Some basic hiring agreements are always a good idea. Primarily, you're going to want to hire 1099 contractors. But that also has specific things with that as well. You can't tell them what to trade on. You can't tell them what hours to work. So you have to know some of that stuff as well. But at least be thinking about what is your structure going to look like for your new hire environment. And then once you have your first 3, 4, 5 people hired, from there, what is your performance assessment process? So do you meet with them weekly? Do you meet with them monthly? How do you watch their sales? How do you support their growth? Because what you don't want to do is you don't want to end up with like 20 agents and they're all, I mean, selling one trip a month. That does you no good. Get 4 or 5 super agents that are selling $1 million a year, and then that changes your life, right? So but you have to think about having that structure in place. And this is where it goes from you taking off your super agent hat and putting on your super owner hat. Because your job and your role changes. It becomes different. It becomes managing your team, managing the numbers in your business, paying attention to the key metrics. You know, what's your conversion rate? What's your lead flow? What's your marketing spend? How are you going to organize everyone's schedule so you're still meeting the 1099 contractor agreement? There's a million things that you can kind of tie into that place. Don't get overwhelmed with that right now, but you do have to be thinking about that from a long-term perspective, because a lot of times people get really excited and they hire a bunch of people and they think, just because you're a super agent doesn't make everyone else in the world a super agent. Most people need mentoring, they need training, they need support. So you have to think about how your day-to-day job career is changing. You're moving from taking calls and doing vacations all day to supporting 5, 10 other people and doing that. And your income as a result will be higher, and actually your effort can be lower. So it's a win in the end, but you have to do it the right way. And that's what we work with people that are at that level on in the Careers on Vacation program. But hopefully I've given you some great things to think about today in terms of growing and supersizing and monetizing your agency. There's a ton that goes into all of this structure piece, but at a minimum, if you're at those levels, start thinking about it. What's your next plan for the next 12 months, 18 months? What do you want your life to look like a year from now, right? So guys, I, as always, wish you so much love and abundance. Make sure you click a CTR if you're watching this video later, and hopefully it's helpful for you. And also, we have a ton of videos on YouTube, so consider popping over there. It's under Careers on Vacation. You can find us on YouTube. I'll add the link below, and we have a ton of training videos over there too, so to support your abundance as you move forward. If you're looking for a mentor to help you get there faster, book a discovery call with my team and Careers on Vacation. And we'd be glad to talk to you and help you get clear on your goals and see if it's a mutual fit to work together. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.